I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if I am found to be lying, I accept prosecution under the full extent of the sports law. This is episode 5 of Sports in Order. I'm the attorney at sports, and this is my courtroom. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you guys have a good and a safe Memorial Day weekend. Please, please, please be responsible. The attorney begs you to please be responsible. Do not drink and drive. If you're stranded somewhere and you've been drinking, call up the attorney. I ain't coming to get you. Don't get it twisted. But I'll make sure you get a safe ride home. I'll call you Uber. I'll call one of my girls to come out and get you. But I'll make sure you get home safely. Just please, again, be responsible, be safe, but enjoy yourself. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Have a fun Memorial Day weekend. Also, if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. If you guys have enjoyed Sports in Order, I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. But again, please do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. The attorney appreciates it. Thank you. Today on episode 5 of Sports in Order, I'm going to give you my top 10 running backs in fantasy football. I'm going to give you the least fantasy football friendly head coaches and play callers in the NFL. Then I'm going to bring Giants general manager Dave Gettleman and Giants owner John Mara into the interrogation room, and I'm going to grill them on Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract situation and why he hasn't been paid yet. And then lastly, as usual, we find out what's the case on the base with my fantasy baseball players to add and players to drop. Let's get right into it. As usual, we ain't have no time to waste. No time to waste. Let's go. My top 10 fantasy football running backs. This is good stuff. This is great information. Running backs win you fantasy football. You got to have, in my opinion, you got to have at least, you have to have a running back 1 on your roster. That's no doubt about it. And in my opinion, you got to have a running back 2 that's pretty much a borderline running back 1. So what I'm saying is, in fantasy football, you got to have at least one elite running back on your roster and another very, very good one. Number 1 for me is Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell gets a lot of opportunity, a lot of targets in the passing game. Last year, Le'Veon Bell was one of only 3 running backs in the NFL to average at least 20 plus rushes a game. So like I said, Le'Veon Bell's getting the opportunities. He's getting the targets. He's getting the catches. He's getting the touches in the red zone. He is the main offense. He is the offense. Besides Antonio Brown, he is the offense in Pittsburgh. You know, without Le'Veon Bell, I think Le'Veon Bell honestly is more important than Antonio Brown. And I always say this. In my opinion, Le'Veon Bell's a receiver, man. If Antonio Brown, went down and the Steelers had another quality running back, I always say this. You could put Le'Veon Bell at wide receiver and the Steelers wouldn't miss a beat. Le'Veon Bell, hopefully his contract situation plays out. Last year, he didn't show up until September 1st. And that kind of the first 3 weeks, he was struggling a little bit. He wasn't really Le'Veon Bell until those first 3 weeks passed. And that's probably going to be the same situation, this year because he hasn't reported yet. He hasn't got that contract yet. He's probably not going to report until right up at the start of the season. So, you got to have patience with Le'Veon Bell. Let him play the rust off. But once that rust comes off, he's the number 1 running back in fantasy football. Number 2, Todd Gurley. The entire Rams offense is built around Todd Gurley. Screens, catches out of the backfield. Another 3-down back. This guy, Todd Gurley, he don't come off the field ever. Last year, Todd Gurley led the NFL with 7 100 rushing yard games. So 7 times, Todd Gurley had 100 rushing yards in a game. That's pretty elite, if you ask me. Plus, you throw in, like I said, throw in the catches, throw in the opportunity, throw in the fact that he is the main offense for the Rams. Can't ask for much more. 3, Ezekiel Elliott. Talk about volume, man. This guy, Zeke, when healthy and when not suspended, Ezekiel Elliott, he is the Cowboys offense. He is getting all the volume. Again, a 3-down back, doesn't come off the field. Since 2016, Ezekiel Elliott has 2,614 rushing yards. That's first in the NFL. Also, since 2016, Ezekiel Elliott has 22 rushing touchdowns. Again, first in the NFL. And that's with him being suspended last year for 6 games. This kid, I'm a Giants fan, obviously, as you could tell, but you got to respect, you got to give credit to where credit's due. Ezekiel Elliott's a true stud. Definitely a top 3 running back in fantasy football. Number 4, David Johnson. This kid, man, David Johnson, rushing and receiving. big, fast, built like a tank. Runs like a wide receiver, catches the ball like a wide receiver, but has running back straight, has track, straight line speed. This kid David Johnson, man, again, another one that hasn't been healthy, didn't miss all of last year. But healthy now, I think David Johnson has legitimate potential. I think it's a certainty that David Johnson this year has 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. I mean, in 2016, he had 20 total touchdowns. And he had 1,239 rushing yards and 879 receiving yards in 2016. So he was 130 receiving yards away from having 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. Last year, I think he would have did it if he didn't get hurt. This year, I guarantee he's going to do it. This year, David Johnson is going to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. Number 5, Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara is going to be the main guy in New Orleans with Mark Ingram being suspended. And like I said, with David Johnson, the potential for 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards. Same thing with Alvin Kamara. Last year, Alvin Kamara, as a rookie, had 81 receptions and 826 receiving yards. 81 receptions, 826 receiving yards as a rookie running back. This kid Kamara almost had 1,000 yards receiving as a rookie. Now, with Ingram being suspended for the first 4 games, Kamara is going to start off right where he left off last year. And he's probably going to dominate those first 4 games. So Ingram's going to come back, and there's going to be no room for him. This New Orleans offense is Alvin Kamara's now. And again, Sean Payton, brilliant offensive mind, is going to find multiple ways to get the ball to Kamara multiple times a game. A lot of targets are going to go his way. He's going to get a lot of carries. I don't know about the red zone looks or the red zone carries for Kamara because that used to go to Ingram. That was Ingram because Ingram's the bigger running back. But Kamara, again, a lot of opportunity, a lot of catches. Last year, like I said, almost 1,000 yards receiving. I think this year is the year, along with David Johnson. I think there's going to be 2 running backs this year that have 1,000 yards receiving and 1,000 yards rushing. It's going to be David Johnson and Alvin Kamara. 6th, Kareem Hunt. Last year, Kareem Hunt, as a rookie, everybody knows, led the NFL in rushing. I think he's going to be better this year. A lot of people are like Patrick Mahomes. Who knows what Patrick Mahomes is going to be? Listen, Patrick Mahomes, yes, a lot of question marks surrounding him, but with Patrick Mahomes, one thing is for certain, and that's that he has a super strong rocket arm. That kid Mahomes can throw the ball 80 yards, without no effort. So he's going to show that through the first 3 or 4 weeks that he's throwing deep balls, to Sammy Watkins and Tyreek Hill, and teams are going to see that and eventually have to back off the line, have a safety over the top, double team the receivers. And you know what that's going to do? That's going to open up a lot more room for Kareem Hunt to do damage. Out of the backfield, running the ball. And Andy Reid, again, a brilliant offensive mind. He's going to find ways to get the ball to Kareem Hunt. Especially after, Kareem Hunt led the NFL in rushing as a rookie. And pretty much Andy Reid didn't know what he had in Kareem Hunt. And he still led the NFL in rushing. Now, Andy Reid has a full offseason to find better ways to get Kareem Hunt the ball. Oh, man, Kareem Hunt's going to have a better year than he had last year. 7th, Melvin Gordon. Now, Melvin Gordon has scored a lot of touchdowns in his young career. 2016, he scored 10. Last year, he scored 8. But, Melvin Gordon, other than score touchdowns, he doesn't do much. He has low yards per carry. He doesn't, he averages, I think, barely 3 yards per carry. He does catch the ball well out of the backfield. And again, he is the guy for the Chargers. Like, he is the main guy for the Chargers in terms of running the ball and catching the ball out of the backfield. As soon as the Chargers get in the red zone, and it's crazy. The Chargers, how many 1-yard touchdowns Melvin Gordon has had the past 2 years? It's crazy, man. Melvin Gordon, every single time you turn on the Chargers game, it's like they're on the 1-yard line, and then Melvin Gordon gets a 1-yard touchdown. But hey, we don't care how many yards it is. We care that it's a touchdown. We care that we're getting 6 fantasy points. And Melvin Gordon gets a lot of them. So draft Melvin Gordon and anticipate him getting double-digit touchdowns. 8th, Leonard Fournette. Now, Leonard Fournette is tough, man. He's the king of the extra yard. It looks like it's a 4-yard rush or a 5-yard rush. It turns out being a 7-yard rush because, after contact, Leonard Fournette keeps running. And last year, again, he was one of 3 players to average 20-plus rushes a game. The other one was Le'Veon Bell. The other 2 were Le'Veon Bell and Ezekiel Elliott. So Leonard Fournette, every game, it was a fact. He was getting at least 20 carries, 20 rushes. And then last year, he was 2nd in the NFL with 6 100 rushing yard games. First, we mentioned earlier, was Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley had 7 games of 100 rushing yards. Leonard Fournette had 6 games of 100 rushing yards. And that included the playoffs, too. So, Leonard Fournette showed up in the playoffs as well. Had multiple, I think the first and second game. I think, actually, Leonard Fournette, every game in the playoffs had at least 100 rushing yards. And plus, another one scores double-digit touchdowns. Going to continue to score double-digit touchdowns because he is the running back, the main running back for the Jaguars. Yeah, they still have, the TJ Yeldon. He comes on the field for passing downs. But I think with the fact that Leonard Fournette, scores double-digit touchdowns, gets a lot of rushes, gets a lot of carries a game, the volume's there, I got no problem. Leonard Fournette is my running back 1 this year. 9th, Derrick Henry. Now, Derrick Henry, in his young career, already has 11 rushing touchdowns. And he's been splitting carries with DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray's not there no more. He's gone. It's Derrick Henry's backfield. Derrick Henry is the new running back 1 in Tennessee. And they have a new offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur, just came over from the Rams. You know who was on the Rams? You know what running back's on the Rams? Todd Gurley, who was the fantasy football MVP last season. LaFleur's going to take some of those schemes and some of those concepts he got from Sean McVay and learn from Sean McVay and use with Todd Gurley. He's going to bring them to Tennessee, use those same concepts, those same schemes with Derrick Henry. Fact of the matter is Derrick Henry can catch the ball too. Derrick Henry is very similar to Todd Gurley in the way they play football. Don't be surprised if Derrick Henry is your fantasy football MVP this season. And last but not least, the fantasy football, the running back OG, Shady McCoy. Yeah, Shady McCoy is still getting old. Yeah, he is getting old, but he still is, the OG. The Buffalo Bills offense still revolves around him. And with the facts being that the Bills drafted Josh Allen, 7th overall pick, most likely the Bills quarterback this year is going to be a rookie. And you know what happens when a running back is? You know what happens when a team has a rookie quarterback? They run the ball. 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 And they continue to run the ball. That's what's going to happen in Buffalo. Josh Allen's going to go through his growing pains, go through his rookie year struggles, but the one constant on that Bills offense is going to continue to be LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy is going to get all he can handle. He might get injured. He gets injured every year. It's always those nagging injuries. But hey, as long as Shady McCoy is healthy, he's going to get a lot of carries, a lot of volume, a lot of opportunity. Shady McCoy, I think he has one more running back 1 season in him. Last week we did the 5 most fantasy football friendly head coaches and offensive play callers in the NFL. Now I'm going to give you the 5 least fantasy football friendly head coaches. The 5 least friendly fantasy football head coaches and offensive play callers in the NFL. I always get my words mixed up, man. It's like, I think I said 5 fantasy football friendly least. No. Let me rephrase that so you guys understand. My 5 fantasy football least friendly head coaches and offensive play callers. Yeah, I didn't word that sentence right. My bad. The attorney's mistake. My fault. You guys get the point, though. Number 1, Bill Belichick. Come on, do I really have to explain this with Belichick? How many times have you got burnt by Bill Belichick in fantasy football? I gotta take this bucket hat off, man. It's got the fresh fade. Shout out my barber Josh, by the way. But let me get back on point. Bill Belichick. How many times has he burned you in fantasy football? The fantasy experts, the fantasy gurus tell you, oh, play this Patriots running back this week. He's going to get a lot of carries. He's going to get a lot of touches. You play him, that running back doesn't leave the bench. How many times, play Edelman. He's going to get a lot of targets this week. Play that Patriots receiver. He's going to get a lot of looks in the red zone. Edelman has 2 catches. That Patriots receiver doesn't even see the field, doesn't even get any opportunities in the red zone, doesn't even get on the field to get the opportunities in the red zone. That's Belichick, man. Belichick is as mysterious as they come. And in fantasy football, you don't want to draft players whose head coach and offensive play caller or offensive play caller is mysterious. You want somebody that you know is going to be consistent and get his best players the ball. And that's not Bill Belichick. Number 2, John Harbaugh. Now, John Harbaugh, man, yes, he has Joe Flacco as his quarterback, but John Harbaugh's offense, man, as long as he's been there in Baltimore, it just hasn't been exciting. It just hasn't been explosive. It's been so basic. And yeah, I know the Ravens have been, built, they build their team around defense, like their defenses carry them, but gosh, dang it, man, you got a potential, I guess you call him a franchise quarterback and Joe Flacco. Can you have some explosion? Like, can you have a receiver that can take the top off the defense? Can you have a running back that can catch the ball out of the backfield? I don't know, man. It's just John Harbaugh, I don't know who to blame, Harbaugh or Flacco. But either way, anyone in that Baltimore Ravens offense, stay away from, because just in fantasy football, you got to have a little bit. You want some players that are explosive, man, and that can take the ball to the end zone, to the touchdown, to the goal line, to the red zone, anything. Nah, it's not happening with that Baltimore Ravens offense. Hey, maybe Lamar Jackson could be the guy. But right now, nah, stay away from that Ravens offense. 3, Pete Carroll. Try drafting a running back on Pete Carroll's team. Try doing it. See what happens. They got 8 of them, 9 of them, 10 of them. You don't know who the running back is in Seattle. I'm good. I don't need no running backs on that team. I need one running back that's going to get every carry and every touch. He ain't on the Seahawks roster. Unless it's the new rookie they just drafted, Rashawn Penny. I mean, Carroll said he's going to be the guy, but I'll believe it when I see it. Remember last year when Jimmy Graham, an elite red zone tight end, got one look in the red zone, like one target in the red zone the entire season? Do you remember that, 2016? Do you remember that? This guy Jimmy Graham, man, is a beast in the red zone. He had one target in the red zone the entire season. Who are you blaming? You blaming Russell Wilson? Nah, because Russell Wilson throws the ball to where he's told to throw. Russell Wilson follows the play calls. Whatever Pete Carroll says to do, Russell Wilson does. So blame Pete Carroll. Ugh, I'm good off Pete Carroll. I'm good off him. I'm good. And then last but not least, Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson, as a head coach or offensive coordinator, if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're supposed to adapt and, still find ways to be successful, even though you don't have that franchise quarterback. With Hugh Jackson, he hasn't had a franchise quarterback yet in Cleveland, and the results have shown that. He's got no production out of his quarterbacks in Cleveland. And you're going to say this guy's a brilliant offensive mind? Come on, brilliant offensive minds find ways to get production no matter how bad the player is, no matter how bad the quarterback is, no matter how bad the running back is. And, you guys remember Duke Johnson. He's still on that Browns roster. Duke Johnson, man, is a very good running back. How underutilized has he been in Cleveland? Very, very underutilized. Man, this Duke Johnson can run the ball, and he's an elite pass-catching running back. The Browns just didn't want to use him. Who are you gonna blame on that? The guy's been calling plays in Cleveland for the past 3 years. Hugh Jackson. Thank God he's not calling plays anymore, man. Thank God he's not calling plays for the Browns anymore. You know who is? Todd Haley. And actually, Todd Haley was on my list last week of the 5 most friendly fantasy football coaches and offensive play callers in the NFL. Todd Haley's now calling plays for the Browns. You could draft some players in the Browns. But when Hugh Jackson was calling plays for the Cleveland Browns, you stayed away from everybody on the Cleveland Browns. Because Hugh Jackson is just not a good play caller. It's that simple. All right. That's it for the top 10 running backs in fantasy football. And the least fantasy football friendly head coaches and offensive. Man, I can't get that phrase down pat, man. I'll get it down pat for you guys. Don't worry. But 5 least friendly fantasy football. Anyway, it's time for the interrogation room. Dave Gettleman, John Mara, please step into the interrogation room. Introduce yourselves. Okay, yes. We have Dave Gettleman, who is the Giants general manager, and we have John Mara, who is the owner of the New York Giants. Need some water, guys? Cup of coffee? You guys are good? Okay, cool. All right. I'm here representing my client, Odell Beckham Jr. Got his jersey on. Had to show the kid some support. Listen, guys. This kid Odell, he needs to be paid. He needs to get that new contract that he's been looking for. He needs that financial security. My question for you guys is, what's taking so long? What's taking so long to sign this kid to a contract? You see so far since OTAs have started, all these torn ACLs and all these season-ending injuries before the season even started. Hunter Henry comes to mind, Hunter Henry was one of these players that was going to have a breakout season, especially a breakout season in fantasy football. He's not going to play a single snap this season because he tore his ACL in OTAs. We've seen Odell have one serious injury already. We've seen how quickly it can happen and how fluky it is. And just one play, boom, season's over. Possibly career's over. Thank God it's not a career-ending injury for Odell. But football's a brutal sport, man. Like this, your career can end with one play, with one snap, with one hit, with one broken leg. You guys, I know Mara and Mr. Gettleman and Mr. Mara, I know you guys understand that. Like, you understand that. And this isn't some scrub we're talking about. This is Odell Beckham Jr., a top 2 wide receiver in the NFL, a top 5 player in the NFL. We've seen what this kid can do on the field when he's healthy. It's time for you guys to reward him for his play on the field. He's earned it. Let me ask you guys a question. Has Odell Beckham Jr. earned a $100 million contract? I want to know. I want you guys to answer. No? You guys say no? Oh, you guys say off the field he hasn't earned it, but on the field he's earned it. Okay. Off the field, has the kid ever been in trouble with the law? Has he ever been arrested? Has he ever hit a woman? Has he ever been arrested for drunk driving? Has he ever, got into a fight in a nightclub and, had assault charges? No. Yeah, the kid, he shows, he has some antics on the sideline. He shows some immaturity at times. But ask any teammate about him. They'll tell you good things. They'll say good things about him. Ask anybody that knows him. Ask anybody that is friends with him. Nobody has any bad things to say about Odell Beckham Jr. It's like, come on now. And again, you got to give this kid his financial security and his long-term commitment, because what if another serious injury happens? What if another serious injury happens and you don't have that financial security? Come on now, you guys will feel bad. I'm sure you guys will feel bad. And I understand, guys. It's a business and you can't worry about that type of stuff, but a player plays his first 3 or 4 years to earn that long-term commitment and earn that financial security. And Odell Beckham Jr. on the field has done that. For 4 years, he's put up elite numbers. He's earned the financial security. He's earned your guy's long-term commitment. You drafted him to be a productive player. You drafted him to be a winning player. You drafted him to be a superstar. You drafted him to win you football games. You guys drafted him to put up elite numbers. And that's what he's done. That's what the kid has done. So let's just talk about the other receivers from his draft class that have got paid and have got long-term contracts. Just recently, Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL at $16.5 million per year. Mike Evans, good receiver. No doubt about it. Sammy Watkins. Oh, man. Sammy Watkins is the 4th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, $16 million a year. And Jarvis Landry is the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL at $16 million a year. So Watkins and Jarvis Landry both make $16 million a year. Essentially, they're tied 4th and 5th, whatever. And Mike Evans, second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, $16.5 million per year. Cut the bullshit, guys. Cut the bullshit. It's time to make my client Odell. It's time to make him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Just no doubt about that. You guys know what we know. I know it. My team knows it. Odell knows it. Now, let's talk numbers. Let's just talk numbers and stats. Let's do some comparing. Odell Beckham Jr. through 4 seasons. 38 touchdowns, 4,424 receiving yards, 313 receptions. Cool. Now let's talk about the second highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. Let's talk about his numbers. Mike Evans, 32 touchdowns. Odell has 38. Odell wins. Mike Evans, 4,579 receiving yards. Mike Evans got that. Cool. Mike Evans has 309 career receptions. Odell has 313. Odell wins that category. But remember, Odell missed 11 games last season, guys. He missed 11 games last season. So he didn't get a chance to add to his legendary numbers. If I got another one for you guys. If Odell Beckham Jr. averaged at least 80 yards per game over those 11 games that he missed, if he was healthy for those 11 games that he missed and he played in those games and he averaged, 80 yards a game, 80 receiving yards a game, which is nothing for Odell. He does that. He averages at least 100 yards a game usually. He averages 80 yards a game for 11 games. He would have had at this point 5,224 receiving yards compared to Mike Evans' 4,579 receiving yards. Plus, Odell obviously would have added to the receptions and the touchdowns. So Odell Beckham Jr. would have been head and shoulders above Mike Evans if he didn't get hurt last year and played all 16 games. The numbers don't lie, guys. The numbers don't lie. And don't even get me started on Sammy Watkins, who's the 4th highest paid receiver in the NFL. He's getting $16 million a year. Last year he played 15 games, the whole season pretty much, missed 1 game. He had 39 receptions and 593 receiving yards. Played a full season. That deserves $16 million a year? Odell would have got those numbers in 4 games. Come on now. What more do you want me to say, man? Career for Sammy Watkins, 192 receptions. Oh, God. 25 touchdowns, 3,052 receiving yards for Sammy Watkins. And this guy got his contract. Mike Evans got his contract. Why isn't Odell getting his? Because of his antics? Because he's coming off a serious injury? Sammy Watkins has had serious injury after serious injury in the NFL. That didn't stop the Chiefs from paying him. When you have a talent like Odell Beckham Jr., when you have a talent like Mike Evans, we'll even say Sammy Watkins is talented, because Sammy Watkins, when healthy, is very, very talented. But none of these players compare to Odell. Odell is a game changer, a generational talent. You don't play games with these type of players, Gettleman and Mara. You don't do it. You don't let these type of players walk away either. And the fact that you guys are trying to trade my client is just nonsense. Nonsense. I'm not going to get into that with you guys, but that's just nonsense. You guys know, man, this kid Odell is special. You know it. You know you're playing with fire by not paying this kid. Let me ask you guys a question. If you guys were playing against Odell Beckham Jr., would he be the main guy that you game plan for? Would he be the main guy that you'll be worried about? Let me rephrase this. If you guys were a defensive coordinator for an opposing team and you're playing against Odell Beckham Jr., he'd be the guy you're game planning for, correct? He'd be the guy that scares you the most, correct? He'd be the guy that you don't want to take a slant 80 yards to the house and end your team's game and end your team's chances of winning that game. Exactly. But you have that type of player on your team, and you don't want to pay him. You don't want to play games with him. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. Pay this man. Pay the kid. Please pay this kid before it's too late. It's like a franchise. It's like the franchise quarterbacks. You know, the franchise quarterback market. It's usually the elite quarterback sets the market, and then a bunch of good quarterbacks get paid higher and continue to reset the market. It's the opposite with Odell Beckham Jr. A bunch of good receivers have got paid already, but the elite receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., hasn't got paid yet and is waiting to reset the market. Listen, guys. Listen, I understand you guys have a team to run. It's a business first and foremost. I get that. But again, it comes down to, has the kid earned his payday based off his performance on the field? And he has. The numbers, I just told you the numbers. I just compared the numbers that Odell Beckham Jr. has to players in his same draft class that have already got their payday. There's no excuses now. No more excuses. Yeah, I get it. You're not 100% committed to him being a leader and based off his sideline antics and his immaturity. I get that. That scares you a little bit. But end of the day, it's a business, and your guys' bottom line is winning football games and making money. Odell Beckham Jr. helps you win football games. Odell Beckham Jr. helps you guys make money. I bought an Odell Beckham Jr. jersey. You see everybody in the crowd wearing Odell Beckham Jr. jerseys. You want to continue to make money? You want to continue to make ticket sales and ticket revenue? Pay this man so these people keep coming back to the stadium, to MetLife Stadium, to watch Odell Beckham Jr. play. And mind you, he could possibly help you guys win another Super Bowl championship. Thank you, guys. Thank you for stepping into the interrogation room. You guys can step out. I got my evidence. All right, guys, it's very simple. You know, Gettleman and Mara, they're playing hardball. They're playing hardball with Odell Beckham Jr. And I get why. At the end of the day, again, these owners and these GMs, they have a job to do. They have a business to run. They can't let any kid, they can't let anybody compromise that. I get it. But again, it goes back to Odell Beckham Jr., man. He's not a bad kid. He's not a bad guy. He's never been in trouble off the field. He's never been in trouble with the law. Everybody's immature. Every kid at that age is immature. I'm 24 years old. I'm Odell Beckham Jr.'s age. I think he might be a year older than me. But regardless, we're in the same age bracket. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm about to go out this weekend. Again, I'll be responsible. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys better be responsible too. But I'm going to be responsible, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to have a fun time. I'm going to drink. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be dancing. I'm going to be all over the place. Having a good time, vibing, and enjoying myself. That's what Odell Beckham Jr. does on the football field. He vibes out. He has a good time. He's energetic. He's passionate. He's competitive. Does that make him a bad kid? No. Does that make him unworthy of a $100 million contract? Hell no. Because at the end of the day, the kid works hard and the kid produces when he's on the field. I don't want to hear the nonsense either about, he's coming off a serious injury. We got to be cautious. We can't pay him yet. What? Why? Why are we going to let that injury prevent us from paying him? That doesn't make any sense because we see what he did the 4 years prior when he wasn't injured. So we're just going to bypass those 4 years of elite production and not pay him because of one freak injury. Mind you, he was producing at an elite level before the injury, those first 4 games of last season before he got injured. When you break it all down, we've seen what the kid can do. He's special. Game changer. Again, generational talent. These are the type of players you don't let walk away. You don't let leave your organization because they're hard to find. And they're even harder to find them again once you let one go. Damn near impossible to find one again once you let them go. So, end of the day, it's simple. The attorney says the Giants must pay Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants must pay Odell Beckham Jr. ASAP, as soon as possible. Like today, like tomorrow. No more bullshit with Odell Beckham Jr. No more playing games with Odell Beckham Jr. Because I'll tell you one thing. As a Giants fan, the Giants don't re-sign Odell Beckham Jr. and I see him playing for another team like the Eagles or the Cowboys or the Rams or any other team that could use him, which is every team. I'm done with the Giants. I will not be a Giants fan anymore. Odell Beckham Jr. needs to be re-signed by the Giants. Okay. It's time for What's the Case on the Base. I got some players for you, as usual, to add in fantasy baseball and some players to drop in fantasy baseball. You want the players to drop first, you want the players to add first. We've always started with the players to add first, and then we always end the show with some negatives. No. We're gonna get the negatives out of the way. We're gonna start off with the players that you should drop. Players that you should send right over to the waiver wire. Players I'm sick of. Players I do not want on my team. Am I being harsh enough? Am I being too cruel? I don't give a damn. Alright, here we go. Number 1, Maikel Franco of the Phillies. Maikel Franco is in a 4 for 33 slump. He's only hitting 254, 734 OPS. He's never put it all together. And every year it's like, all right, let's give this kid, one more chance. Let's give this kid, Maikel Franco, one more chance. He's got the tools. He's got the talent. But it doesn't matter how many tools you have and how much talent you have if you're not focusing, if you're not, focusing on your skill and focusing on trying to get better and focusing on the task at hand. And that's Maikel Franco's problem, his lack of focus. I watch him play, man. I watch him at the plate. Just like he's just not caring. It just looks like he doesn't care. And it looks like, honestly, he doesn't put enough work in to be a quality major league player. And I don't care about all that. I just care about if you're producing for my fantasy baseball team and Maikel Franco's not. Maikel, head to the waiver wire. Aaron Sanchez. Now, 2016, Aaron Sanchez went 15. 2016 it was? Yeah. 2016, Aaron Sanchez went 15-2 with a 3.00 ERA. Last year, people said, after having the year he had in 2016, people thought last year was going to be the year that, Aaron Sanchez became a true ace, a true Cy Young candidate, a true top 5 pitcher in baseball. His year was shot from the beginning. He had blisters on his hand that he couldn't get over. He had a season-long blister problem, and it affected him. Like, he was on the disabled list for a long time, came back, the blisters came back on the disabled list. Last year was just a lost season for Aaron Sanchez. This year, people thought, you know what? He's going to reduplicate his 2016 success. He's finally healthy. This is the year that Aaron Sanchez puts it all together. This year, he's 2-4 with a 4.07 ERA. Aaron Sanchez, I don't know if he's got the blisters. I don't know if the blisters are still affecting him. Again, don't care. He's not producing for my fantasy baseball team. Aaron Sanchez, see you on the waiver wire. Greg Holland. Now, last year, Greg Holland led the entire major leagues in saves. But for some reason, no team was signing him. Like, Rockies let him go. Nobody wanted to sign him until the Cardinals gave him a 1-year, $14 million contract. Okay, Greg Holland with the Cardinals, it's a pretty good move. He's going to take over as the closer. They don't have any closers. Greg Holland, yeah, I like that fit with the Cardinals. But now, Greg Holland's not even pitching for the Cardinals. He's getting innings in mop-up duty, and still not producing. Bud Norris is the Cardinals closer right now. You want to know why? Because Greg Holland, statistically, is the worst reliever in the major leagues. Of relievers that have thrown at least 10 innings, least 10 innings. Yeah, I'm sorry. He's statistically the worst reliever in the entire major leagues of relievers that have thrown at least 10 innings. Yeah, 10 innings doesn't seem a lot, but when you're a closer who only usually pitches, 1 inning a game, 10 innings is a lot. Of the 48% of the 69 batters Greg Holland has faced, all of them have reached base. 48% of the 69 batters that Holland has faced have reached base. His 2.59 walks, he's allowed 2.59 walks and hits per inning. I'm sorry, I have my notes all screwed up. I'm trying to follow it. Let me rephrase that again. 48% of the 69 batters Greg Holland has faced have reached base. He has allowed 2.59 hits and walks per inning. That's crazy. Greg Holland, as a closer who's only pitching 1 inning, should just come in and strike out the side. He's allowing almost 3 hits per inning, 3 walks per inning. That's bad. That is bad. His 8.76 ERA is the worst in the major leagues. His walk rate of 21.7%, worst in the major leagues. His 13% strikeout rate is the worst in the major leagues. Greg Holland, done with him. Send him to the waiver wire. Albert Pujols. And this one hurts, man. Albert Pujols, this one hurts. He's a legend. A Hall of Famer. All-time great. This year he's only hitting .249, 7 homers, 22 RBIs. Believe it or not, though, his slash numbers are actually up from this same time last year. His numbers are up. But the ceiling with Albert Pujols is so low. Like, the best you're going to get with Albert Pujols is what? 255 batting average, 18 home runs. That's cool. But is that the Albert Pujols we're so used to seeing? Especially in fantasy baseball? No. And there's players that are out there on the waiver wire probably that can give you 18 home runs and a higher batting average than 255, which is probably what Albert Pujols is going to give you. I just think it's time to cut our losses with Albert Pujols and accept the fact he's not the player he once was, and he's definitely not the player he once was in fantasy baseball. And another player, another hitter to drop, Adam Duvall. Last year, Adam Duvall hit .250 with 31 home runs. This year, I thought that Adam Duvall would probably hit the same amount of home runs, low 30s, mid 30s, but raise that batting average. Because .250 and 31 home runs, it's good, but come on. It looks better when it's .280 with 31 home runs. This year, Adam Duvall, he's got the power, still has the power. He's hitting 9. He's hit 9 home runs, but he's only hitting 193. Come on, man. I can't have players on my team that have a batting average of 193. I just can't. No, the power's cool. Again, power's great, but you're not about to send my batting average down like that. No way. Adam Duvall, head to the waiver wire. Now it's time for some players to add. Take a look at Dustin Pedroia, though. Dustin Pedroia is activated today. Red Sox have activated him. They just recently sent down Hanley Ramirez to the minors. Pedroia is coming up to take his spot. Pedroia, he's old. He's 34, coming off serious injury. But, hey, Dustin Pedroia, we can maybe see him the rest of the season hitting the mid-threes, 320, 325. He's that good of a hitter. Just take a look at picking up Dustin Pedroia. Juan Soto, the 19-year-old stud from the Washington Nationals. Now, Nats aren't healthy right now. Howie Kendrick just ruptures Achilles. He's done for the year. Adam Eaton, he's going to still be out for a long time. So that's why this kid's playing. And great plate discipline for this kid, man. Always walks, always on base. Last game, he had 3 walks in a game. 3 walks in a game. He became the first teenager to have 3 walks in a game since 2012 when his teammate Bryce Harper did it. Before that, the last person to have 3 walks in a game was 1975, Robin Yount. So this kid, Juan Soto, man, always on base, great plate discipline. Walks again are a category. On base percentage is a category. Take a look at picking up Juan Soto. Kyle Freeland. Yes, Coors Field is very, very bad for pitchers. Probably the worst park in the major leagues, but besides Texas for pitchers. But this kid, man, is getting it done. This kid Kyle Freeland's getting it done. 4-5 with a 3.28 ERA. He'd probably have more wins, man, if the Rockies gave him more run support. Rockies' offense hasn't been great this year. They've been struggling. He's 3-1 this month. Again, probably would have been 5-1 if the Rockies gave him more run support. But hey, the 3.28 ERA, I'll take that, no doubt about it. Be cautious though. Coors Field, he can give up 10 runs like that at Coors Field. So any Rockies pitcher you got to be cautious with. But again, Kyle Freeland so far is getting it done. keep taking a chance with him until it burns you, because right now he's productive. Brandon Crawford. If you're lacking production from your middle infield spot, take a look at Brandon Crawford. He's hitting .309, 5 homers, 21 ribbies. He's not going to give you a lot of power, but I'll settle for that .309 batting average. Brandon Crawford, man, is a solid hitter, solid, middle infielder. Again, it's hard to find production from your middle infield spots, second base, shortstop, because there's only about 6 or 7 elite ones. The rest are just hit or miss. But Brandon Crawford, again, like I said, hitting .309, 5 homers. I'll take that any day of the week. Another San Francisco Giant, Brandon Crawford's teammate, Brandon Belt. Talk about somebody having a career year. Brandon Belt's never hit more than 18 home runs in a season. This year, already has 11 home runs. He's hitting .317. Now again, we've never seen Brandon Belt hit more than 18 home runs in his career. He's at 11 right now. We can maybe see, Brandon Belt go into a little bit of a slump and then end up hitting only 18, 19, or maybe even 20 home runs, which at the end of the day is not great. But right now, Brandon Belt's having a career year. Again, hitting for power and hitting for average. I'll take that. Let me get some Brandon Belt on my team. Jurickson Profar, the young stud from the Texas Rangers. Now, he's been a top prospect in the Rangers organization for a minute, but he's never been fully healthy. Now he's healthy, and he has 26 RBIs in 46 games this season, which already ties a career high for him. Now, the batting average is low, .237. I get it. Young player still finding his way. But you love the RBIs. You love the run-producing opportunities and the ability to produce runs that Jurickson Profar has shown so far. So, again, hopefully this kid can stay healthy, because when he's healthy, which he is right now, he has elite run-producing ability. Give me some Jurickson Profar on my team. My RBI category is, a little stale. I'll take his RBIs on my team right now. No doubt about it. That's it for episode 5 of Sports in Order. The verdict is in. The jury has decided its verdict. Let's check it out. Wow, that's harsh. Okay. Order in the court, order in the court, order in the court. All right. Hate to do it to you guys, but the jury has sentenced all of you guys watching to 25 years to life of drinking ice cold beer, eating buffalo wings, and enjoying sports. I'm the attorney at sports. This is Sports in Order. This is my courtroom. Again, have a good Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Enjoy. The jury's out.